Here in the final race of round one for the Truck Series, I'm your host, Captain Dead Dad. I'm joined up into the booth by Big Jim and JoJo. See you later. Yeah. I mean, we're going into Chicagoland. Right now, Shake and Bake is locked in, and Ghost Kill is pretty much locked in, but, I mean, who do you really have going out after today?
Yeah, it is do or die for our three guys underneath the cut line going into this race. AK unleaded, 6 points under. A Hack, 8 points under, and Mayhem in a must win. He's 36 points under. Those guys are in a very, very stressful situation. Skeptic Whitey, Jason Cole, Dalator, MBD, TGS, all those guys above, but they are also within a range where they could get knocked out tonight. So it's going to be a very, very exciting one. Hopefully everyone's tuned in and ready to watch.
Definitely. I mean, our bottom three right now, aside from Mayhem, honestly, uh, I mean, they're all within, like, if I can remember how to read this correctly, Jason Cole is only 12 points ahead of AK Unleaded, who's currently just sitting outside of it. And, you can make up those 12 points in a single stage, essentially, if you win it, and that other person gets none. So, I mean, it's going to be a really tight battle up to even fourth for where MBD is. As he sits only 15 above the cut line, along with Dalator, who, as far as I know, cannot even make the race today, which kind of sucks, but due to
Really?
apparently, I mean, I haven't heard
Wow.
anything official, but kind of bites.
Yeah, if he doesn't make it, he's going to be eliminated.
I mean, yeah, it's really just as simple as that. If he doesn't show up today, he's pretty much out because, I mean, he just doesn't have the points gap. Had he gotten had he, finished Canadian Tire, he probably would have had the ability to, like, sit out and worry about what's happening in his actual life. But
Yeah, I
Jason
mean, the
Cole's
thing
got the
about...
pull.
Oh,
Jason
who,
Cole has pull.
Jason Cole, I mean, that's actually really good for him. I mean, he currently sits, he was fifth in the playoffs. Yeah, no, he's currently sitting sixth, so he's already got 1 point up on really everybody else. That puts him 13 up ahead of uh, the cut line. I had to think for a moment. And also, apparently, the top five was Jason Cole, Ghost Killer, AK, Shake, and TGS.
I
Although
was
I don't know if
told
that's for
false
Paul or not.
information. Ghost Killer got pull.
Eh, makes sense.
Holy crap.
Well, Ghost Killer gets the poll, so way to go, JoJo, on giving us false information. Also, apparently,
Daltor is
yeah,
racing.
yep, Dalator is going to be racing, so that's definitely going to save his playoff hopes for now, anyway.
yeah,
Assuming
that's
nothing
big.
terrible happens, that definitely is.
It's really big because I know that he was going to have Hurricane Ida remnants coming through Pennsylvania today, and he was very concerned that that was going to knock out the power or the internet or something. So good to see him still racing tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and Hennessy, Hennessy Performance Racing League, not actual Hennessy. We do offer our condolences to anybody out currently in Pennsylvania. Please be safe and, just be safe. But yeah. Honestly, with Ghost Killer getting pole, it doesn't really shake off the playoffs too much. I mean, instead of being 44 points up from the cut line, Ghost Killer is now 45 points up from the cut line. I'd like to think he's pretty much locked into round two unless something disastrously bad happens, like he doesn't show up. I mean, what are your thoughts, Jim?
I'm trying to do the math here because the maximum amount of points somebody can get in a stage is 10. If somebody were to get 10 and Ghost finish like dead last, it doesn't matter if he finishes 11th or dead last. They pay the same amount of points in the stages. So that would be 20 points, so he would still be 25 points above. I think that's enough to lock in Ghost Killer. I think he might be locked into the next round.
I do think that does just barely lock him in, because if he obviously does go, or does lose that gap and it goes down to like 25 to the cut line, there's still 17 positions in that race. That person would need to win a race, and Ghost Killer would have to finish dead last. And just the worst case scenario possible. And he could probably, this race, if that happens, he could probably lose a good handful of spots in a worst case scenario. But with him getting pole, it's pretty unlikely to happen, honestly.
I think his main issue was, I mean, if he didn't show up for today's race, then that would have been problematic. He still would have had a chance to make it in, but it would have been a lot less prominent of a chance. But since he made the race and won pole, 45 points above going into the race, I really think with 17 guys in the field, if there's not 25 guys in the field, there's no way anybody can surpass him. So I think that is going to lock in Ghost Killer.
It would be 22, if I'm not mistaken. Because from first to second, it's 5-point gap, 40 to first place, 35 to second. But whatever. But yeah, no. I mean, Ghost Killer can't really breathe too easily right now, unlike his counterpart over at GMS and Shake and Bake. You know, winner of Canadian Tire, he locked himself in after a fairly dominating performance, really about all race until a couple of incidents. But, you know, he obviously came back, ended up winning the whole thing. Even Ghost Killer had to admit, Shake and Bake was pretty fast, which rarely happens amongst other drivers. Typically they're at each other's throats unless they know each other from, you know, a different league or they're close friends, IRL or something. I mean, it's definitely pretty nice to see a lot of companionship between some of the truck guys.
Yeah, they race pretty cleanly around one another. I think that Canadian Tire really showcased that to a maximum. Was Shake and Bake and Ghost Killer had a really great battle there at the end. And it was mostly clean. They gave each other props in the party afterwards, and that kind of respect is going to translate down the road. I don't know how aggressive they'll start getting once push comes to shove in the playoffs later down at like Vegas or anything, but
yeah,
I think that it will be. I think they have earned each other's respect.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it happen with Dalator and GU last year. They screwed each other out of the playoffs here at this very track, and I mean, at that point, it was just pretty much it for both of them. I think they were both in the Final Four, and they both had just let H-Wicks drive off with the championship fairly easily. And
we can join, by the way.
Okay. I mean, I doubt we're going to see a repeat of what we saw last year at Chicagoland, but I'm sure, or as far as I've heard anyway, there's still a lot of bad blood between Dalator and GU. So if GU's racing, Dalator is definitely going to need to look out a little bit. And again, it is Ghost Killer on the pole, and GU is racing, so we definitely might see a little bit of action between the two, depending on what really happens.
Yeah, I think for the most part they've got that under control. I think that was well over a season ago, so those guys are going to be a little bit. I think drivers have long memories, but I don't think enough to mess around with each other anymore. I think that they figured that out last year at Chicagoland, but we'll have to see.
I mean, a bit of insider information. Dalator does still complain every now and then about GU, and last time I heard, GU doesn't exactly hold great feelings for Dalator either. Anyway, we're here in the lobby. Ghost Killer was leading for a moment, but it looks like Jason Cole, starting second, manages to get on the inside of Ghost Killer coming out of, well, going into 3 anyway.
Yep, going for 2 points here. He's going to get them.
Yep. As far as I know, Jason Cole is going to lead that lap, although the heat physics can be a little bit janky, and even when you're ahead of someone, you could still be scored in second, so that'll be up for determination of whatever broadcast is, or whoever's live streaming in the field. Yeah, we're also going to see another kind of surprising move. AK Unleaded, he's currently battling from 8 or 6 points down in the playoffs. Going to lose, or going to gain a couple positions from the start. currently sitting up in second with Shake and Bake, a fairly fast car just behind him. Ghost Killer dropping back into, I think that's fifth.
Sorry. Don't need the audio for MBD stream going on right there. It does look like Jason Cole is actually starting to stretch out that lead a little bit, and that's pretty impressive at a track like Chicagoland. We saw in the Cup Series and Xfinity that draft meant the world at this racetrack.
I mean, draft definitely does mean a lot at this track, but it means a lot at really any other track. Once you lose that draft, unless it's, you know, a road course or somewhere you're particularly good at, you're not really going to catch up to people that easily. As we see another lead change real quick, AK Unleaded going for a shot to take over first and get 2 bonus points, kind of dig himself out of the hole a little bit. Yeah, no, I mean, draft is really important at every track. Once you lose it, you're pretty much out. And that's going to be it until there's a caution for either a stage break, a wreck, or anything. So I believe we're going to see kind of a repeat of what we saw in the Cup and Xfinity Series broadcasts.
Trying to find the rest of our guys. A little mayhem update. Right now he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th out of all the trucks out there. So he's making his way up there right behind PGS Predators. And he's in must-win territory. He's got to get out here. And he doesn't have to worry about stage points. Those don't matter. But he's got to put himself in a good position by stage 3 to win this race in Chicago.
Yes, definitely. Mayhem is in a must-win situation. I mean, there's really no other way he could get out of that deficit that he is in after missing Canadian Tire, unless something hilariously catastrophic happens to the other 8 playoff drivers ahead of him. And, I mean, it's, like you said, it's a must-win for him, essentially. Right now, he's currently the lowest in the points, but currently the lowest in the actual race would go to AHAC, sitting way back there. I believe it was second to last. So
AHAC is he's not a stranger to these situations of being under the cut line. We saw at Talladega he was under the cut line and was able to overcome that adversity and get into the playoffs. But now he's challenged with a little more competition here in the playoffs, better drivers to go up against, and right now he's not in that top pack. He's about, it's like 14th, 15th position right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's lost the draft of the pack, or of the main pack anyway, and I mean, that's definitely going to hurt him this stage, and hopefully he can find some footing coming into stage 2 here in however many laps we have to go, which I'm not sure of.
Yeah, and we're going to get that to you right here when MBD crosses the line. It is 9 laps to go in stage 1. He isn't looking at his fuel, so I don't know if they have to make pit stop or not.
I like to think they have plenty. I believe they are only running at 2x this race, although I could be wrong. No, they are running 2x. So yeah, they're only running at 2x, so I doubt they're really going to have to worry about tires or fuel in the stages. I mean, we're probably going to see really everyone come down at stage breaks, take, 4 and fuel to get yourself to the end, but I doubt we're going to see really any green flag pit stops until stage 3.
Yep, a little more on that Mayhem update. He is running underneath the 15 right here for 4th. Isn't able to get a nose there, though. Will stay in 5th for the time being, but Mayhem has got a really good piece right now, and he's being followed by somebody who's going to be pretty nice to him, I imagine. Ghost Killer, teammate. I don't think he's going to try pushing him out of the groove much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really helps when you're driving with the car that you also, or the truck that you also happen to, own. And it also helps that Ghost Killer is definitely friends with Mayhem, as we see Ghost let Mayhem in, get him back on the inside line, and we might even see Ghost Killer try and push Mayhem up a little bit, knowing the situation that Mayhem is in. He's going to be working and trying his hardest to get Mayhem up to the front and in this race. And currently, the
2 just hit the apron. The 15 is going to make a move under. Here comes Mayhem for 3 wide.
Mayhem's going to take it 3 wide. Pretty kind of scary if you're the 2. Not so scary if you're the 15. As the camera kind of cuts away, but they seem to have taken it fairly decently. That could have ended pretty catastrophically, honestly. I mean, had we seen Mayhem hit the apron there, that too, despite being locked in, he would have been up in that wall and obviously wouldn't have had the greatest of races. But it does look like they get out of it fairly easily. Mayhem finds himself up in 3rd. Not really too much movement happening between 1st and 2nd, though. AK Unleaded, after taking the lead, is kind of driven away with Jason Cole, currently sitting in 2nd. And honestly, this is pretty big for really both of these drivers. I mean, Jason Cole is currently sitting 12 above the cut line, so he doesn't really need the points that much. But AK Unleaded currently 8 down, I believe now only 6 down after he led a lap, and continues to lead laps here. I mean, he's working his way out of the hole, and I think fairly shortly we're going to see him dig himself back up into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's important that AK gets those points, but you can see him creeping up right there. The 87 of Skeptic Whitey. We heard on the podcast last night that Skeptic's pretty good at these 1.5 milers, so don't be surprised to see him up there, and he needs to get those 2 points, or he needs to get that lap led for 2 points. That way he can match what the 16 just got and cover it off.
I mean, yeah, definitely. If you're Skeptic, you got to kind of panic a little bit. I mean, you're right there, sitting in 7th place. Obviously, 2 of the drivers, AHAC's sitting way God knows where, close to last. And, Mayhem's at a must-win, but he's still got a fairly competent driver of AK Unleaded currently leading the race, as Skeptic sits in 6th place. Or not even 6th anymore, it looks like he's 7th.
They were 3 wide for 2nd right there between Mayhem. Mayhem actually hit the 8 going into turn 1, and he's going to lose 2-3 spots right there. 98 gets around him, and the 15, or not the 15, excuse me, looks like the 2.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt just a little bit for Jason Cole. I mean, he's still got that 12. He's still 12 above the cut line, and
this is 1 lap to go in stage 1.
Honestly, being 12 up on the cut line and actually coming to 3rd as we see them go back to 3 wide. Looks like Ghost Killer, Shake and Bake, and Jason Cole. No, Mayhem actually again. Jason Cole is going to kind of give it up a little bit, and Shake and Bake is going to continue to put the fight to Mayhem. But it does look like AK Unleaded is going to win the stage. Ghost Killer coming 2nd, Mayhem in 3rd, Jason Cole, Shake and Bake, NBD, who's also in the playoffs, and then Skeptic. So I do believe with that stage win, I think AK Unleaded is either 1 point above or has evened himself with Skeptic. So,
yeah, it's hard to say. I think he has evened himself up because the 87 finished 7th, correct?
I believe he did.
7th. Okay, then
AK
maybe the
Unleaded
16 just surpassed him.
Yeah, he was actually at 6 points and leading a lap. Took off 2 of those, so 4 points after leading a lap. And then he finished, I believe he's like 3 or 4 points ahead. So if AK Unleaded could hold on to this, he doesn't even really have to win. He just needs to hold on to this points gap and make sure Mayhem and Skeptic kind of stay down where they are.
Yeah, well, the 16 also sees that the 88 behind him is a huge threat to his championship hopes, and that if that 88 wins the race, he locks himself in over AK, so AK's very cognizant of that. He knows what's going on behind him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, AK and Mayhem aren't exactly the greatest of friends, so I'm sure we're going to see kind of a similar thing as to what we saw between Dalator and GU last season, in which they pretty much took each other out of the playoffs and out of championship contention, as we see Jason Cole give a small tap to the 2 of Shake and Bake just before going into 3. It looked like Shake and Bake tried to get his nose under, and Jason Cole wasn't exactly having it. So Shake and Bake's going to drop back to just barely 5th.
Let's get back to this lead right here, because this is huge playoff implications between the 16 and the 88. Mayhem is there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Mayhem is right there, and again, points don't mean a lot, so I think if you're Mayhem, you just kind of test and see and feel what you can do. See what you can do to follow that 16 around. See what his line is and see how you can take advantage of that and try and get yourself around the 16 truck at the most opportune time before the race ends. I think in this stage, Mayhem should just focus on keeping an eye on that 16 truck and seeing what he does. And, you know.
Yeah, but track position also means a lot if you're the 88. You want to get around the 16. If you feel like you're faster and you can break away, that's going to give you a lot of confidence going into stage 3, the moneymaker for Mayhem tomorrow.
I mean, definitely. Breaking off and getting ahead also obviously works. It's tried and tested, and apparently it's also true. So
that was 11 laps to go here in stage 2.
Yeah, kind of a short race, thankfully, unlike Canadian Tire.
Oh, yeah.
Dragged on. But yeah, no. I mean, honestly, I think if you're Mayhem, you just focus on keeping the other drivers behind you. If he can get around AK Unleaded and start leading, that's great. But then all of a sudden, Mayhem doesn't have that duck or that rabbit to chase in front of him. And, I mean, we might start seeing mistakes come from Mayhem if that's the case. I believe Mayhem looks to have a little bit of a run coming out of 2, but actually, yeah, he's going to continue to have... Nope, never mind.
Yeah, the 2 is right there. Shake and bake. I know a lot of people are going to, reprimand him for racing the 88, who's in a must-win so hard, but that 2 is going for much-needed points, playoff points going to the next round. So shake and bake, if he can get some more stage wins, maybe win this race, it really sets him up nicely for the next round.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think if we see Shake and Bake win here today, he could possibly even be first seed in the next round of the playoffs, if not pretty close, because as we see Ghost Killer, he hasn't really done a lot other than get pole. I don't even think he led the first lap out. So, it's not really too dire of a situation for Ghost Killer. I wouldn't hit the panic button on him just yet, but, we might see... If Shake and Bake wins, we might see Ghost Killer knocked down to second place in round 2.
Yeah, I think he might be just taking it easy. He knows his situation. He wants to win this really badly. He's a guy that goes out and tries to win every single race, but he also knows that his teammate needs it more, and I think that's really what that 98 is striving to do, is help his ThorSport teammate.
Yeah, definitely. It's typically yourself, and then if you're in a good position, you want to start helping your teammates. Ghost isn't really doing a whole lot of helping right now. It's kind of hard to discern between the 2 trucks, as we actually have a lead change. The 2 has taken the lead from the 16 of AK Unleaded. Looks like he's going to get to lead this lap as well, but Ghost Kill isn't really doing a whole lot of helping right now if he is the truck that is 2 spots behind the other one. I believe it is, although it is hard to tell. They look really similar. Yes.
Oh, somebody just hit the apron. That might have been Ghost Killer.
Yeah, no, Ghost Killer is sitting, 2 spots back from Mayhem. He's not really doing a whole lot of helping right now, other than really holding up a little bit of the field, but...
He just moved the 87, put him in the fence, and gives him a little more of a bump. He did not appreciate that block.
Yeah, I believe that's going to all but pretty much lock the 16 into the next round of the playoffs, since the 87 just got put up into the wall there. And honestly, I wouldn't call that the end of the 87's race, but that's definitely going to hurt a lot, as it looks like he sits back in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I was either 10th or 11th. I could be wrong, though.
Now, I'm going to tell you to hold off on that thought, only because the 87 won a very interesting race in Charlotte, which was based off of strategy. So if the 87 gets another shot at a strategy race, or if he can just get himself some track position, he's still in this thing. The 87's not out of it by now, but points are not going to look very well for him. He's probably going to be in a must-win.
Definitely. Right now, I actually think he is... I actually think he is currently out of the playoffs, assuming AK doesn't have some really huge catastrophic mistake and drops back out of the top 10 here for the stage end. I believe Skeptic is currently just sitting outside of the playoffs. By how much, I'm not exactly certain, but his other two competitors in Jason Cole and Dalator and NBD have all been, about top 10 this entire race. Actually, NBD is currently sitting in 5th. So...
Ooh, they're getting tight for the lead. I think the 16... Oh, he kept it off of the 2 somehow. They are so close right here, but the 16's going back for the lead.
Yeah, 16 is definitely fighting for that lead. I mean, why wouldn't you? As I'm not sure what we're coming to go with, but I mean...
2 to go.
You've got plenty of reason to fight for the lead whenever you're the 16. Obviously, this kind of does take away from Shake's,
Look at
trying to get
GU.
into the playoffs. GU is going to make a move down the inside of the 16, surprisingly not going to help his teammate. And
Wow.
that's definitely a little shocking, as that now puts Shake and Bake in 5th. MBD moving up
16's not
in
going to be
4th.
happy about this on the white flag lap for stage 2. Is he going to move him back?
Yes, definitely. GU currently leading 16 just behind the 26 of TGS. I have to always look at his name because I can never remember it for the life of me. But the 26 of TGS currently sitting in
Look
3rd.
at the blocks. Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
AK is going to
16
try
to
and
the
go around
outside?
the outside. Kind of surprising, and it doesn't look like it's going to work at all. He's actually going to end up maybe losing a position. Yep, he is going to
Yeah.
end up losing that position there as well. So AK Letta is going to cross over 3rd, and I believe, I could be very mistaken. Let me find him real quick, though. 1, 2... Skeptic has clawed his way back up to, I believe, 8th or 9th. I could be wrong, though.
9th place,
So,
yep.
I
That'll
mean-
be 2 stage points.
Yeah, 2 compared to your main competitor's 8. So, with that, I'm not going to say AK Letta has locked himself into the playoffs, but he is pretty close. As I
It's going to
believe
take something crazy for that 16 not
Yes,
to make the
definitely.
playoffs now.
It's
Either the
gonna
88
take-
winning or him getting sent out of the groove and maybe losing a tire or something. I don't know, but AK has put himself in a good position after these first 2 stages.
I'd like to think it'd take Mayhem winning, Jason Cole, Dalator, and NBD all finishing 2nd through 4th, and Skeptic finishing in 5th to get AJ or AK out of the playoffs. As we come to the final stage, stage 3. Not sure how many laps, but GU currently leading, TGS sitting 2nd, AK Letta 3rd, Shake and Bake 4th, NBD 5th, Jason Cole 6th. All playoff guys with the exception of GU currently leading the pack.
Ooh, that 88's got to be careful. He's swinging back there, and if he catches the back end of that 00, he's going to get tail whipped into backstretch wall.
And definitely we see the 88 getting fairly loose as you see the 8 of Jason Cole smack up into the wall. And I actually, no, he did not lose the pack. I looked at another white truck and I thought that was him. Yeah, no, Jason Cole's going to drop back to what looks to be just barely outside the top 10. But for AK Limited, it does look like things have kind of straightened themselves out a little bit after fairly disastrous performance at Canadian Tire, currently sitting in 2nd and all but locked into the playoffs. I believe he currently sits with a fairly...
Yeah, he's got a little bit of cause for concern back here with GMS surrounding him. That 23 in front of him, GU leading the race. The 2 is Shake and Bake. Might be a little easy on him because the 2 is locked into the next round. But then the 26 back there is also going to force the issue. So that's 16 in a GMS sandwich right now.
I mean, definitely. If you're the 16, you don't try and relax right now. The 16 doesn't have any friends out there with him. GMS ain't exactly the most friendly people. And then on top of that, he's got the 88 and the 98 sitting behind him, as well as we see the 23 of GU go through the grass on the front stretch, causing AK Unleaded to go on the outside. Shake and Bake going up the inside, going to try and go for the lead. It looks like the 16... No. Both the 2 and the 16 are actually going to pull ahead of the 23. AK Unleaded still on the outside.
23 backed out right there. He did not want to go 3 wide again into turn 3.
I do not blame him, going 3 wide, especially when it's kind of detrimental to not only one, but both of your teammates while you're not in the playoffs, isn't exactly the greatest of moves. So, thankfully, he did back out there.
26 just hit the apron right there. Can the 16 clear? That'll be big if he can get back to the bottom. That's preferred line.
Yep,
and I don't know if he's clear yet.
I did look at it, and he definitely looked clear, and yes, he actually is going to be clear. It's actually going to be pretty big for him, so hopefully he can stay on the racing line at least, and hopefully not have another incident like that happen to him. And I mean, that's what we were talking about. It'd take something catastrophic, and for a moment there, I'm sure we saw AK Unleaded panic a little bit as he was forced to be
avoided
outside.
Disaster right there. He avoided disaster, and the guy that is experiencing disaster right now is that 88 of Mayhem Tomorrow. He's stuck on the outside now on the 87 and 15 who are bumping each other in front of him. That 88 is in kind of panic mode right now. He needs to get back up there, put himself in better position, but right now he is kind of blocked in.
Yeah, definitely. If you're Mayhem right now, I think you panic. You start to worry. You need to try and figure out what's going on as the 26 and the 23 have been let go by the 16 going into turn 3. I'm not sure if there's an issue with AK or if he's just letting them go because he's actually aware of his situation, like a lot of other drivers. But 16 is going to drop back to just barely 5th, sitting on the outside of Ghostkilla, a fellow playoff competitor, and just in front of Dalator and Jason Cole. And Skeptic.
Let's also get an update on AHAC, the other guy that was underneath the playoff line, another Thrower Sport truck. He is back here mired with Mayhem at the very tail end of this long line of trucks. Has a lot of work cut out in front of him, and he has not really shown that speed yet, so he's going to have to kind of put the throttle down here.
Yep, definitely. Mayhem and AHAC both are going to have to try and find their speed a little bit, as there's a lot of beating and banging here for 5th place. We saw just for a moment there that the 16 was, beating doors with both the 8 and the 87, not exactly making friends, but definitely making some positions in the process. I'm not entirely sure what had gone on, but they weren't exactly, loose, as we see the 16 try and move down to the inside line again, but get bumped back up once more.
Mayhem's still stuck on the outside now with his Cutline Thorsport teammate who's stuck on the outside here at the very tail end of the pack. But now the major problem I'm seeing is that Mayhem, AHAC, MBD, all these guys back here that got into a little bit of a scruffle, they are not in draft. Those top 3 have broken away from the rest of the pack, and with Mayhem being in a must-win, AHAC pretty much being in a must-win, they've got to stay with that draft.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've really only got one hope, and that'd be Dalator, currently sitting in 4th. It looks like, or not 4th, 5th actually. Yeah. No, 4th. And they've really only got one hope, and again, Dalator sitting in 4th, not 5th, not 6th, 4th. He's got to try and catch up to that front pack and keep these guys, I believe the 8 and the 87 are his teammates, and he's got to keep those guys in tow with him, and not only him, but also the 15, who is not in the playoffs, but I'm sure it'd definitely be nice for Roush to have all 4 of their cars sitting within the top 10.
Absolutely it would, and that is 27 laps to go, 26 when they come back around to the line, and I think they do have a pit stop in this stage. I could be wrong, but I think they have a pit stop.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't, honestly. Trucks don't exactly have a lot of fuel inside of them, and I believe they are going to have to pit here at Chicagoland sometime soon, I would say within the next about 10 laps or so. But current update on AK Unleaded, he's actually dropped back to what looks like about 8th place, 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th place actually, with Skeptic just 3 spots ahead of him, currently sitting in 6th. Not enough to make it back into the playoffs, as I'm not sure if we're seeing pits here or if AK Unleaded was just trying to go for a move, but yeah, no.
See right here.
Does not look like they're coming down.
Looks like he just got loose.
It could have been loose. It could have been AK Unleaded trying to go for a move down the backstretch way on the inside. can't really be too certain until we see or hear what happens afterward. But yeah, no. I mean, Skeptic's got to do a lot more than what he's doing right now if he wants to get himself back into the playoffs. He's lost about 20 points to AK Unleaded, and it's going to be one hell of a time trying to get himself back up and ahead of him.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the front here and just, again, 2 weeks in a row here, one time at a road course, now at a 1.5 miler. GMS has come to play. They are top 3 right now, and they are, I mean, again, just pulling away from the rest of the pack. They are so fast right now. I don't know what Joker or Riley gave them for setups, but this is incredible. This is the time to get hot if you're GMS in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this is huge for not only Shake and Bake getting, possibly getting playoff points, assuming his 2 teammates don't try and move him or anything for the race win, but also pretty big for TGS in the 26. I believe he sits either 3rd or 4th in the playoffs, and this is definitely going to be a pretty nice boost points-wise. Yes, he currently sits in 3rd, just behind Ghost Kill. I mean, we might even... No, we're not actually going to see that. I was going to say we might even see TGS take over or get over Ghost Killer, but I thought about it for a moment. I was like, no, probably not. So this is definitely pretty big for GMS, honestly.
Yeah, it is huge for GMS, and I'm looking back here. There's a lot of bad blood. You remember Darlington, right, Captain? Definitely. What happened between Mayhem and AK? It is translated here in the playoffs. The 88 and the 16 basically door jammed each other all the way down underneath the grandstands. I mean, it was very scary. Mayhem almost wrecked the thing going into turn 1.
I mean, I'm not terribly surprised. Both of these drivers hold a pretty big-sized grudge against one another. I mean, they've both got their reasons. I'm aware of both of them, but I'm not going to bring it up. But there's definitely some bad blood between both of these drivers, and it does look like they actually got spaced out here for now anyway, as I believe AK does have the draft of MBD, and Ghost Kill, or not Ghost Kill, Mayhem doesn't have the draft of AK, so hopefully we don't see any contact between them, and hopefully they can resolve whatever's going on between each other.
So right now you have the 3 GMS guys, and then right behind them, this is Roush, correct? This is the other team.
Is Roush.
Yeah, so they're having a pretty good day as well. They're trying to work together to get up to that trio, and here comes the first of that trio. That is the 26 of TGS Predators, Pit Road.
And it does look like we're going to see our first taker, our first few takers for Pit Road. Give me a minute, I will try and look and see who all came down Pit Road, but, the
Mayhem
system sucks for looking at them. But it is going to be TGS, Mayhem, 15 of Jason Colt, and the 18 of Arbale, someone we don't really talk about very often for reasons that are obvious to people in Hennessy, but, we love to see him. So, you go, Arbales.
We love you, Bales. Let's see. So right now the leader, I think the leader might just... No, the leader is Shake and Bake. But I think Dalator did peel off the pit road. And here comes the 99 of Solis, Overbeak, and 44 of... I have no idea. Taylor.
It does look like 17 of Dalator definitely did go down pit road, as I do not see him with his 2 GMS teammates. Or not GMS, Broush.
Comes the 87.
They all look the same. They all drive trucks. Yeah, no. I mean, surprising number.
Oh, 87 sped.
That, yeah, I think that all but confirms that Skeptic is not going to be in round 2 of the playoffs. That's going to hurt him a lot. The fact that he sped, and I believe the remaining 2 GMS trucks of the 2 and the 23 are coming down this time. Hopefully we do not see an incident between the 2. It looks like 23 is going to definitely give a lot of space to the 2 truck. And they both get down pit road fairly nicely. Jason Cole, MBD coming down as well. I do not believe anybody else followed with. Actually, AK Unleaded went down pit road, I believe last lap. And
yep, he's coming out right now, and that 87's still sitting there. This is gut-wrenching for Skeptic.
Yeah, that's definitely painful. And here comes Akan, let it out now. 88 of Mayhem just now getting around him, and his own teammate of the 98. So I'm not exactly certain on who leader is as of right now.
I'll give that to you in a second.
Yep.
I think it might be. I think it's still the 2. He's coming out right now with the 23.
Let's see if I can find him.
He's exiting turn 2 right now.
Yep.
Onto the racetrack. So here comes the 26 to TGS.
Yep, TGS having a fairly decent-sized undercut. It actually does look like TGS is just going to slow down and hop in behind Shake and Bake and enjoy his points. So I'm also going to look and see, just see who is actually leading this race.
So 13 getting 2 points for leading, but seeing where he's ran all night, he's in a must-win.
Definitely. I mean, he's really in a must-win. And how he's really performed throughout both the stages and now in stage 3, I mean, it's going to hurt a lot. And I believe we are going to see a pass for the lead. I could be wrong, though, because the stream tends to be a little bit weird.
Is Jason Cole for position up here?
I
think he might be. That or he sped.
I actually do not know.
He got moved by the 26, though, right up the racetrack.
Yeah, and it does look like the 2 is going to take back the lead not too long ago. 14 laps, coming to 13 this time by. So yes, Shake and Bake is still leading the race, and if I'm not mistaken, the move on Jason Cole was for position? I could be very wrong, though.
I don't know.
I don't know either. We don't have any stream that's up
if
there.
If he sped, though,
5.
that's big. He might get eliminated. I don't know.
Definitely. I mean, if he sped like his teammate in the 87, that's gonna really hurt. We're gonna see a lot of dropping out, and I mean, we might even see AHAC possibly get lifted up into the playoffs by virtue of both the 8 and the 87 speeding. Although I kind of doubt that.
No, I think I think Jason Cole was for position. I think he took 2 tires because he was not this slow to GMS. Before the stops, he was kind of equal with them. Right now, he is losing a lot of ground to them.
Fair enough, honestly. He might have taken 2, which would honestly surprise me. I mean, it's not a bad strategy, but I wouldn't really call it a good strategy either. I mean, it's interesting, to say the least. But, I mean, for a moment, he was up there with GMS, and I mean, he's still kind of sticking around, but as far as I can see, there's really no other trucks around him, so Jason Cole is going to find himself in probably a pretty decent 4th place right now, with, I believe, coming to 10 to go.
As long as those left sides hang on for him, I think he will be able to maintain at least the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can manage your left sides in the first half of the final stage, things can definitely go, pretty well for you, and I believe we're going to see things go fairly well, and hopefully Jason Cole has a bit of a visit from Lady Luck, and things actually go right for him for once.
Now you can see that 2 has pulled away. I do want to kind of explain that a little bit. If you've been around this game, you know how important stretching out the fuel run is and taking tires on that last stop at the latest time possible. That is exactly what you're seeing with the 2 and 23. They have stretched out this gap over the 26, who pitted a lap or 2 earlier, and the 8, who pitted even earlier than that. So I think that might be what you're seeing right now out of the GMS trucks, a discrepancy between the 3 speeds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you do definitely want to pull ahead, and I mean, even if you're Shake and Bake, you might even drop back and possibly have GU drop back as well and let, TGS win the race. But there's nothing wrong with just extending your lead and, keeping position and holding on to first and winning another race, because, I mean, he's going to find himself within, arm's length of Ghost Killer in the second round of the playoffs, along the lines of playoff points anyway.
It's just impressive what Shake has been able to do over the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks. I mean, he's going for 3 in a row right now. That's just incredible to me. That is, and it's 3 different disciplines of racetracks. I mean, this guy has come to play at the right time. It's like Kyle Larson getting hot there in the middle of the summer. It's just uncanny what we're seeing out of the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely surprising to say the least. I mean, Shake and Bake going for 3 in a row, that's honestly pretty big, especially over 3 tracks. Talladega, Canadian Tire, and Chicagoland. 3 very different tracks with 3 very distinctly different racing styles. I mean, Daytona, Talladega, you've got pack racing, and Canadian Tire, you've got fuel and tire strategy, and then here, I mean, you mainly just got to focus on the racing line. So it's definitely, I don't know what the word is. It's not surprising, but interesting. Yeah, there it is. Interesting that Shake and Bake's managing to probably go for 3 in a row here today at Chicagoland. As we see our Bales, we love you, take a dive into the infield.
Yes, into the inside wall. Really hard impact. Hopefully he's okay. But I do want to give us a little rundown on the rest of the guys that aren't in this top 3. So AK Unleaded, seems like he's doing what he needs to do. He's running 7th right now. So that will get him into the next round. Because Skeptic sped last time in. Mayhem tomorrow, I mean, he's hoping for a caution right now. Running 6th, it's not going to be enough. Needs a caution. MBD running 8th, Dalator running 9th. I think they're doing just enough to keep themselves in the playoffs. So I think they are good. And AHAC, another guy underneath, he's looking for a miracle right now, to say the least.
We're actually going to see a bit of a surprise going on between Mayhem, MBD, and AK Unleaded. As we saw there on the moment for the broadcast, Mayhem had bumped up AK Unleaded in turn 3 and took away the position. And then NBD on the front stretch gave a bit of a challenge to both of those trucks and pushed it up the inside, just about going through the grass, but not actually touching it, and trying to make it 3 wide going into 1. As we see AK drop back to now 9th, NBD 8th, Mayhem 7th. Obviously, it doesn't really mean much in the long run for Mayhem, but I mean, those couple of extra points could definitely be of a bit of help for AK Unleaded.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 to go when they get to the line here for Shake and Bake and the rest of the field. But if you're AK, in my opinion, you just let Mayhem go. He's really upset right now, not happy that he is not going to get into the next round. Last thing you want to do if you're AK is get taken out and let this go into fate's hands on points. So just sit back there, stay away from the 88 and 00, and live on to fight another day.
Yeah, definitely. If you're AK right now, you relax. I mean, both the 87 and the 13 are pretty much out of the playoffs. I hate to say it, but with the 87 speeding, he pretty much just screwed himself out of any contention, and despite leading a lap, AHAC just really didn't have it in the stages. I'm not sure where he's being scored right now, but I mean, AK, yeah, he's pretty much locked in, because 3 of those people are way below him in points, and Mayhem is that last one, so.
Yeah, this is the final corners right here for 3 and 4 for Shake and Bake. What an impressive show in the last 3 weeks from him.
Yep, definitely. Fairly surprising as I try and find him real quick. Shake and Bake is going to come to the line. His GMS teammates in the 23 of GU and the 26 of TGS coming in 2nd and 3rd respectively, with quite a pretty large gap. Definitely surprising. It does look like Dalator is going to come across 4th, keeping himself in the playoffs, I believe, for now. With the 3 of Ty Racing. Nope, I lied. Never mind, Dalator's in 10th, apparently. I don't know.
Nice.
We're just going to have to wait and see.
So your live results, Shake and Bake winning the race, GU 2nd, TGS 3rd, Jason Cole 4th, Ghost Killa 5th, Mayhem 6th, MBD 7th, AK Unleaded 8th, Dalator 9th, and Ty Racing rounding out your top 10. That's going to mean we say goodbye. Going into the round of 7, we say goodbye to Skeptic Whitey and the 87 Roush Fenway machine. We're also going to say goodbye to AHAC and Mayhem tomorrow. So Yep, that's the thing about the playoffs. Is cutoff is pretty brutal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of one of the detriments with the playoff system. Sometimes you just don't get picked, and it definitely hurts a little bit. I mean, but anyway, we're joined by now 3-time in a row winner here at, not 3-time in a row here at Chicagoland, but 3-time overall with the last 3 races. Shake and bake. I mean, in pretty dominating fashion, you did it again. I mean, was there really any point you were kind of worried?
No, actually, no. I just had to be consistent. No, I wasn't really worried. Had to get through stage 1 and stage 2. I know Mayhem and AHAC and all the other guys below would be really aggressive. So thanks to GU and TGS for pushing me out to the lead, and they had my draft for a little bit, and then they switched, and then that's really what it came down to, and I was able to pull away.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I mean, it was
fastest lap too.
Yep, fast lap as well. I mean, it was definitely pretty interesting watching all 3 of the GMS trucks work together and, get themselves up in the lead mainly. And I mean, it's honestly pretty cool to watch up here in the booth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, I seen I think it was TGS, he got to the outside, and GU got to the outside, but then I think GU ended up pushing TGS out, and then they caught me, and then, like I said, just lost the draft.
yeah, no, fair enough. Jim, do you have anything you'd like to say to a race winner?
Yeah, Shake, this is 3 weeks in a row. You are on quite the hot streak. I think I said the exact same thing last week, and it was just incredible what you were able to do at a road course. But yeah, that's 3 disciplines of racetracks that you have come out and won at going into the playoffs. I mean, you had Talladega, you won there, you won at Canadian Tire, now you win at Chicago. It's just incredible, man. Like, what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, I got a bunch of points, so I got a big buffer, but my confidence is definitely sky high right now.
It's good to hear, man. Well, again, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
And congratulations again. We're also joined by 3 more drivers, but 2 more GMS drivers, both GU and TGS. TGS, you find yourself locked in to the next round of the playoffs, as far as I know, with my best math, which isn't the greatest, honestly. But you do find yourself locked in to the next round of the playoffs, and I mean, that was honestly a pretty good overall race from just GMS, really. Was there really any sort of strategy with pitting 3-4 laps earlier than your own teammates?
Well, no, there was no benefit to pitting earlier. I wasn't aware they were able to take less gas to save time in the pits, so we came out at roughly the same place, and he had better tires, so he was able to blow by me. The same thing for the 23, so I really had no chance in that one, but it definitely helped me to get the track position that I gained from it away from the other pack of cars, which definitely saved me in the long run. But other than that, it was quite enjoyable.
Definitely, that's pretty good, and honestly, it's kind of surprising to hear that undercutting, for once, actually did not really benefit anyone. I mean, we really kind of thought you were going to take a lead, and for a moment there, it did look like you were going to, as you passed around your teammate at GU, coming up to Shake and Bake on the backstretch, but you just dropped back, which, honestly, probably the right move, but we'll leave that up to debate. Congratulations on getting third and getting yourself into round 2 of the Truck Series playoffs, and we're also joined by the 23 truck of GU. Honestly, a surprisingly clean race. We didn't really see a whole lot of the drama that we saw last season at Chicagoland between yourself and Dalator, which was a bit of a surprise, mainly to me up here in the booth, because I had first-hand experience to it.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know what it's supposed to mean. But yeah, no. I mean, definitely pretty surprising how well you did here today, especially after last season. But we'll get off last season, focus on today. Second place, pushing your teammate up into the lead and just making sure nobody gets close to him. I mean, how'd you do it?
I was just trying to at first burst to 26 up until where he got to the 2 car before pit stops, and then when he started, I noticed that when he was starting to fall off the pace a little bit, I saw my chance. I believe it was coming off of turn 4 or turn 2. I can't remember. And no, side by side with him for about a whole lap. Was able to catch Shake and Bake. But when pit stops came, Shake and Bake just got really got the better entry there, because I really practice pit entry, so, and with how this game is, I don't know if I'm going to spin the car out by hitting the brakes like at Atlanta last season, or go straight on past the orange commitment line. So I wanted to play it safe there, and Shake and Bake was able to get the 1 second boost that he needed to win. And then I noticed that I made a little bit of a mistake of not lowering one of my tire pressures down to make it a little bit more of a short run, and about dead even for the rest of the run. If I pitted maybe a lap later, I don't think it would have made a difference. Might have been maybe an 8/10 gap at that point, but I don't know.
Fair enough. Sadly, you're not in the playoffs for this season due to whatever happened during the actual regular season, but getting second place isn't exactly something to turn your head at.
He only made like 5 races.
Yeah. whatever happened. I mean,
Yeah, whatever.
we don't know for certain.
Bad luck of that, just not even pushing through, just going on and just be like, yo, fuck is bad luck, bro. That 44 truck was just all bad luck. Once I got into the 23, it took me a couple races, and now we're up in the P2, our best finish of the season, and with the tracks remaining, I'm pretty sure that we'll have a greater chance of possibly winning at least one race. I'm giving myself at least one race. I thought this race was going to be it, but, goddamn Shake and Bake has to be here, so, I thought he was, I let him buy Canadian Tire so he could get the win, so I thought he was going to earn me one back, but,
Well, you got to go for the points, honestly, and
Yeah.
I don't blame Shake and Bake for getting the win here today. And
Yeah.
Anyway, congrats to all 3 GMS drivers getting 1, 2, 3 here today. We're also joined by Dalator. Jim, I will let you take this one over.
Yeah, Delator. It was an interesting race to say the least for you. It looks like you were kind of mid-pack the entire time, but it was enough to get yourself into the next round of the playoffs. So what's going through your mind, man? How did your race go?
Well, not good. I was a little too tight with a lot of the run. Thought I was able to loosen it up a little bit. Was good at the start, pushed tight at the end, which left me a little confused. But I thought at the end of the first stint in stage 3 that I had enough to get myself to pit road in a decent time, maybe leapfrog somebody on tire strategy, and then come out of there with a top 5. Unfortunately, something happened when I was coming off of pit road. I think it may have been a game glitch or something. I've never seen it before, so the car whipped around on me and I had to catch it, so that cost me just about as much as if I sped on pit road. So put me in the back behind MBD and AK's battle for 7th with Mayhem, something like that. I knew I wasn't going to win this race. I mean, Chicago's not my favorite track, so I was just happy that I, got out with the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, man. Well, you did survive it, and you made it on to the next round, so we will see you at Homestead.
Sounds good. See you guys then.
Yeah, but again, congratulations to not only GMS, but also Dalator barely getting himself into the playoffs. I'm not going to make this long-winded. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Xfinity and Cup Series at, I've already forgotten the track. Give me one moment and I can say.
Homestead, or Cup Series will be at Watkins Glen and Xfinity.
Yes. Does look like that.
Yes.
And yeah, okay. Whatever Jim said. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Xfinity Series
Whatever Jim
7:30.
said.
Cup Series 8:45. We will see you guys tomorrow.